Hey, 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 if you missed part 1 of this top 20, check it out here. Like, from that tiny box in the corner. Don't worry, it's always watching you. Anywho, it's the top 10 best songs of the 2010s, baby! Number 10. Kesha rattled off 3 albums and an EP in the 10s. Sure sounds like a lot, considering she sat out about half of it, not by choice. Just because of that, fuck Say So, worst song of 2020. Every leadoff single was fire.
Don't stop.
Already made this series. Next, Step Right Up.
Like we're gonna die young.
In Kesha's most anticipated release of her career, the sophomore album's lead-off single needed to be huge, possibly even subvert the expectation of her image in the public. Take TikTok, build on the momentum of goodwill the human garbage provided, and make a song more universally acceptable. Flesh out the love-struck excitement and tone it down on the party aspect. Yes, we're still at said party, but it's about the crush making her blush, and not...
Brush my teeth with a bottle of Jack.
It improves the song by, let's say, 10 spots. That might be something you'd only know if you made some kind of arbitrary list that ordered where these songs were. You may know me as the Kesha expert, and that's not a title I claim lightly. Spotify said I was in the top 0.1% of Kesha listeners for the whole year of 2020, so take that. For the uninitiated, I can see you asking, why Kesha?
Looking for some trouble tonight.
Kesha does not conform to the songs she's on. The songs live and die on her pole. Ryan Lewis knocked Praying out of the park, but wouldn't have had that opportunity without Kesha taking a flamethrower to that piece of shit. And that's a better combo we'll talk about soon enough. But I can use the former's old collaborating partner to prove how to utilize Kesha properly.
These will be the good old days.
From a fandom standpoint, Good Old Days is the most disappointing pop song of the entire decade. I have fucking vinyls for both of these guys, and their collab makes a lifeless, understated bore fest. Macklemore's Gemini is a problem for another day, but Kesha, the commodity, was misused, and that's without trying to add context to her recognizing the good old days. Kesha does not share a stage unless Pitbull needs someone to be upstaged by, and that was best illustrated in the good songs on Warrior. All 2 of them. Arguably the 2 she had the most performing powers over. Come On, a hook-riddled expression of careless disdain for responsibility. Best shown by Kesha's farcical pre-video skit.
Have a nice life, Dick.
But Die Young is Kesha's last stand, a statement that her prior successes weren't some kind of fluke. She was here to stay. Anybody got a voodoo doll I could incinerate? While we don't have to talk about how Dick Splash in her worst album was enshrouded by a puppet master thinking he was so good at his job, the lead-off single was Kesha sticking to her guns.
And we're here for a good time.
Shameless fun.
That magic that we got nobody can touch.
The majority of the song she spends not even singing, whether it be exposition of the debauchery about to take place, or the mild instrumentals in the succinct chorus. It's a 3-minute and 33-second party. You're invited to, so don't be prude. This is why Kesha's my favorite pop queen. I wasn't ever the guy going out and getting thrashed for fun. Closest I get to is 4 IPAs and R6 on a Thursday. She allows anyone to live vicariously through her, and if a house party didn't seem appealing before, welcome to 2021, where I still haven't even participated in my dumb sport in over half a year. She's got me covered. Always. But why a 10-spot jump in quality between 2 singles? Well, Die Young is easier to take.
Everybody getting crunk.
TikTok is one glorious chorus with eye-opening flavor text for verses. Die Young is inviting, warm throughout, not a fun to idly enjoy from the outside, but to be a part of, built on awe-inspiring moments one to the next.
To the beat of the drums.
Pounding over the music to get in, repeating the title until it's almost believable the fucker's best complimentary work on any song. Die Young defined the beginning of the decade better than any other song. The party that wasn't going to stop. Despite a financial collapse and melancholy state of affairs, we were going to enjoy the little things, and Kesha was the perfect leader for that whole era. Thank you, always. We will see you again later. Number 9. Taylor Swift. She had a decade for sure. Kicked it off by still being country enough with crossover appeal to dip her toes in the pop scene. Red allowed her to kick that stupid genre to the side. 1989 was a full embrace of going in that pop direction. Reputation was the parallel universe shit-ass version of that, no matter what her embarrassing stands keep telling me on the tier list video, which people took way too seriously for some reason. Oh well, thanks for the views, suckers! Lover was the down-to-earth recovery needed after the atomic bomb. And like nuclear fallout, Folk and Ever are the nasty remains of old sincerity that I don't believe for 1 second is real now. Anyways, that's 10 years of Taylor. Might as well talk about her best single. Let's finally give credit to that one thing she's so proud of doing, the songwriting. I can accept her being so proud of it when it comes to providing such vivid and luscious imagery. Love Struck and Swept Away is a good fit for the performer she wrote this for. Which was her! Great subject. Beats Vengeful Snake. Or Dummy. This was the career performance for Taylor, and I'm willing to bet it will not be topped. She has the potential without the results. Y'all are way too easily pleased. Not me, though.
I'm on an island.
Is that a new Dua Lipa song? Oh my god, that is the best song of the year. Nothing better. Write what she wants. Taylor still could have given a You Need to Calm Down performance, which she didn't.
That you've been out and about with some other girl.
Thank God it took me forever to get this video out, because I can compare this against that rack-shamble mess from last year.
You put me on and said I was your favorite.
Cardigan is Diet Sprite. Cardigan is Original Lay's. Cardigan is Look What I Can Still Do. I'm folksy. I'm real. Bullshit. I can read the template she used to make every piece. Styles Taylor as a human truly longing for this guy. She escapes that cloud of her own ludicrous fame for one moment. Folk, phony. This is pop living. And there's no replacement. No high horsing. No fake shows. Just a lady in love with James Dean ephemera. This isn't some show hidden by a style. It's Taylor's best song by a fucking lot. Even better than Shake It Off. Wild! If you think this isn't her pinnacle, good for you. I'm sure putting some huffing puffing comment down there will soothe your soul. Besides, the over-opinionated Taylor fans checked out the instant every song in this top 20 wasn't one of her songs. I'm happy your opinion lies somewhere else. But style is my rock. Number 8. You know, when you put your list on one notebook, and then you write the script on another notebook, it kind of makes it easy for you to forget what the actual second best song of 2017 is. You dummy. This decade made this very hit twice, and I think the improvement came with attempt number 2. And as unfortunately topical as it is, let's talk about Daft Punk. She's up all night to the sun. Get Lucky was the bee's knees in 2013. So cool. So undeniably Daft smooth. And maybe a little repetitive. We're up all night to get lucky. Okay, pretty repetitive. We're up all night to get lucky. Alright, tonight is the night to get lucky. We're up all night to get lucky. We've had the same amount of time with I Feel It Coming since it released. And is it annoying? Is it repetitive? No. I like me a good guitar riff as much as the next guy. And Nile Rodgers deserves all the respect in the world. But for a pop song, it's too much, man. But light, precise synths? Baby, I can take my time. Never gets old. Just like Pharrell. We've come too far. Pharrell is great. Charismatic, charming, himself. But he really didn't maintain it. Especially with the pop hit and the Copycat song, which managed to be 5% worse and 12 times more repetitive. The Better article stands on its own. One perfect blast of the feel nostalgia bots long for, but better utilized with a more prominent character like Mr. Abel. Pharrell is just stereotypical loverman shtick. Weak didn't change a thing about his normal performing. He and Daft were the second best Daft collab this century. Check 2007. It's hard to say in a post-after-hours world, but I Feel It Coming was the best production compliment The Weeknd got last decade. Even better, it was a product of 2017, a year that doesn't get enough praise. It killed 2016, and it was a great year in its own right. It gets a bad rap among those last 5 years of the decade, especially compared to those 2 monotonous years that followed. And god damn it, it's too good to not just be as simple as that. And too good to be forgotten as something good enough to make this video. Well done, me. Thanks, me. Number 7. Ariana has a fine line she walks. Either her hits are insufferable and annoying, like The End of the Decade, or nice and introspective, like The End of the Decade. That's Ariana. That's why even when she has oodles of talent, I can't put her above a B. Sometimes she puts 2 songs on a worst list, engulfed on both sides by best list worthy stuff. It's certainly made worse when the 2 worst list entries are preceded by something so great. No tears left to cry. Absolutely too boringly good to need description. I did write points on my outline to cover. It's remarkably simple. Doesn't need to explore themes or ideas too much for a pop song about recovery. Styles 2017. Done. Ariana as a solo act packs so much more of a punch above these cash-grabby, awkward handoffs she's forced in recent years. Done. The song is balanced, enchanting, mystically captivating, completely non-disagreeable. Done. And most of all, I described it in detail less than 3 years ago. So just go back, so I don't have to say the same things again. As long as you can stomach my disgusting grooming choices, I was at a bit of a low point in my life. Number 6.
Don't believe me, just watch.
Uptown Funk. Not on this list. Mark Ronson's magnum opus is a song I have gallons of respect for. It's made like a dream. Got to be the biggest song of the best year of the decade. That was pretty cool. It's aight. It's a 4 out of 5. Wait, where are you going?
Do you remember your first Neopet?
It's 2 things. Firstly, and yes, still clubbing this horse, it still has not recovered from overplay from 6 years ago. I heard songs in this list as much or even more. If they could overcome it, it would've. And heck, maybe it's also these pillars of nostalgia that keep it just pretty good. Blinding Lights innovated. This just sat in the shadow of those who unearthed the style. Should you think it's one of the best songs of the decade? Fuck yeah, man. I won't. Because this'll always be Bruno to me.
I'd catch a grenade for ya.
Early Bruno was appreciated about as well as Charlie Puth is today. Either forgettable or with his wiener in my face. I'll stand by that, and I do remember how much disdain I had towards his body of work. And then Super Bowl 48 happened. Oh my god. Locked Out of Heaven is a masterpiece.
I've been locked out of heaven.
Todd's 2012 best list was the incitement of our initial tastes clashing. I can't get into the mindset of why I disliked such an incredible piece of music at the time. Maybe it was the 1% of overplay I experienced, which was an era where I didn't even listen to radio all that frequently. Maybe it was my established disposition against Bruno out of the gate. He'd already made so many crappy songs, just add the new one to the pile. Maybe 2012 was the height of my dumbass teenage prick phase. You know, where all of your opinions are bad. It's good to know that I've matured into dignified, trashy takes. Once I put those shitty inherent biases aside, the focus could be on the rock. Would I be willing to call Locked Out of Heaven straight rock? Nah, it's still pop music. But the kid sure helped it pretend. He wanted the throwback, he got it. If he made it 25 years prior, he would have been just as successful. The Police comparisons aren't out of nowhere. Everything is on top of that exact feel. Simple 4/4 rock rhythm, the guitar chords, almost completely out of nowhere for a style to emulate. But as he did many times after, he took the best parts of these lost genres and made it his own. What can I say? This is my favorite Police song. There goes the genius of LOOH. A straight 80s-like rock song isn't going to be popular in the 2010s. Usually. So it's simplified to a vessel to carry Bruno to Successville. Do is a great example of this. Productional magic to complement a harbinger of joy. And Bruno makes for a better frontman to this anyways. Sting? More like stung. More like stunk. Oh, yeah. Use that one. That one's better. The Police were good, but I don't think they ever filled a chorus out this well. Yes, I am millennial garbage that believes music's technological advances have made music better as the years have gone on. Unless you're looking at time-traveling geniuses like John Anderson, most things have been revolutionized and perfected, and I don't think that will ever stop. Bruno's take here is proof. A chorus full of wonderful synths, chugging drums, and a man who knows he's making the right career swerve. And even all of my favorite moments of his are in this song. That incredible repeating riff through the verses. Honestly, I'm just trying to set up the best drum solo this decade of pop music saw. Even with Treasure, Uptown Funk, 24 Karat Magic, Finesse, Lou was the unstoppable, phenomenal start to a titan of pop music. Shine on, Bruno. Good luck topping that, because it's not gonna happen. Number 5. Die Young. Great early decade party song. The best, though? This era of pop music had about 5,000 of these songs to go around, but DJ wasn't just another song to fall in line with everything else. It was something special. DJ Got Us Fallen in Love was a template for hit music perfected. Were you not having fun before? Because Usher isn't having any of that. Hell, I'll say it. I think this was the song off Raymond v. Raymond he put his all into. Oh, that can't be right. Forgot about OMG.
Honey got some boobies like wow, oh wow.
Fun. So fun that this was my most listened to song of 2020 on Spotify. Can somebody teach me how to use that app? Because I have no idea how any of my top songs end up there in a given year. Hell, maybe this one was here 10 years after it came out because I never skipped it. And how could I, with a build up to a chorus that good? Even just to the first, a synth sting opening to sync to your heartbeat. Usher providing the most suave, inviting vocals of his already lengthy tenure for 2010. And yeah, I am in love, because the DJ has me there.
Suddenly, we all got our hands up.
And therein lies the magic. DJ is the nostalgia-filled journey back to those good old college days. Shooty McFacey, Breaking Bad all-nighters, absolute disgust and self-loathing. Usher, take me back. Look at all these consoles I bought. I'm gonna play them so much. It stood out amongst the leagues of empty party songs by captivating anyone to get out there themselves. Even Usher, the great dancer, has this introverted video where he has to find the groove in a time void where only he exists. It's a metaphor for falling in love with ourselves in a crowd. Curious how Usher could ever feel like that.
Oh my gosh.
DJ is Usher's best song. Yeah. Oh, like that other song. I get it. Still, it'll always be DJ for me. Ludacris and Lil Jon are good, but they're not the best guest verse of the decade. Maybe even all time.
No evil, speak no evil, see no evil.
This is the second Pitbull verse I've never brought up, and it is easily the best thing he has ever done. Pitbull's moment came and went without enough reflection. This goofball was always out of his element, but giving it his all. And when he was featured on an actual genre-defining moment, he did not disappoint.
My life is a movie and you just TiVo.
I'm sure it seems like cutting to the lines here is sabotaging my points about Pitt's appeal, but I don't care. I think he knew the significance of this one moment. He never sounded this focused. He never implemented such tight rhythm and enunciation. And he sure as hell never made himself as adorable as he did here.
I'm a hustler, baby.
Fucking cute. And for once, his ad-libs couldn't be more appropriate. Let's dance like it's the last night of our lives. This is the best end of times party anthem to be. And the second one on this list. It's a fun genre. Number 4. I still find it wild it took me 5 years to have an extended portion about the Bare Naked Ladies, because I love those goofballs. But it's not too crazy. 90s pop rock? I never talk about that. 6 years and to never have an entry that had Kanye West? Shocking. Uh-oh. Now I gotta talk about that stupid album this dang thing came from. Piece of junk. Crappy Kanye. Garbage. How'd that get there? If you have My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy as one of the best albums of all time, Fatigue, I'm sorry you don't enjoy anything in this world. I feel bad for you. Really. Life sounds like a never-ending nightmare. Nothing compares to riding that magic coaster of rainbow emotions from highs to lows to anger to invincibility to heartbreak, all while not having a thing out of place. Kanye's suited Honolulu gang couldn't even fit this masterpiece on 2 LPs. Although they probably could have. I'm not sure Monster needed its own side. If you can fit Octavarium on one side of a vinyl, I think you can fit anything. Aside from Kanye's artistic decision to make me flip emotionally as much as I do in my favorite downhill biking game, All of the Lights is every high point of an already towering album put into one song. A song that couldn't even be contained within its own track listing. Cutting straight into the radio edit doesn't do it justice. There's 62 seconds of sublime instrumental to set the scene. Honestly, the best cut of the song is the video version because of its inclusion. It also strips the Fergie verse. So it's definitely the best possible version.
Unemployment line, credit card decline.
Other than that forced contrivity, Lights is the power collab of the millennium. Look at all these titans. Not only do they fill these moments with an incredible body of sound, they were there to contribute to other parts of the album. Take it away, Lady Gaga.
Easy reupholstered my pussy.
I cannot confirm nor deny if that is truly her or not. But it is, and it's perfect. Lights is such a fascinating animal. We're well outside the boundaries of pop music. This is an overture of 14 voices, poignant orchestral accents, and the defining artistic mind of this century.
I had to take him to that ghetto university.
What, is the depressing song about falling apart supposed to be the most triumphant song on the list? Kanye will make it work. It's the light at the end of the tunnel, an embraceal of the little things, and it's a refresh to every person involved. Rihanna found time in her packed schedule to give the best goddamn performance of her hectic career. And Cudi having a favor cash to apply perfect variation right as those lights soar. It's fit in right with the usual Kanye magic. There are no half measures. The percussive 808 simulating a heart during an adrenaline rush. The bass keeping the off-kilter reality there against soaring strings. And Kanye himself, the perfect jagged auteur to maestro such a piece. And it's not even the best song on the album. It was the song to make 2011. I guess. I don't know. That year I listened to Ruby by the Kaiser Chiefs more than anything. Caught that on my Nano Wrapped. Number 3. Before Bep was a humiliating trio of dudes, they were a quartet bringing a different and fun dynamic to the charts. Who better than your latchkey chaperone to get you excited about her lovely lady lumps? Most acts don't become famous for nothing. They were definitely some fresh faces, both pre- and post-sellout. Will may have made himself a meme by making nothing but the worst, but they were contrasted with equally great ones. And nothing was more universally accepted than I Got a Feeling.
'Cause I got a feeling.
2009. It's ineligible. Whoops! The end split, 09 and 10, right down the middle, which is why I didn't talk about a certain boom boom bow movement in the compliment list to this one. No matter, I'm willing to bet I'm the only person who loves this Bep song more than anybody. No, The other one. The one that they haphazardly slapped after this one in the video. Yeah, third best song of the decade. Really.
I wanna rock your body.
I've made some bold statements over my YouTube tenure. Freaky Friday, good. Dancing with a Stranger, bad. A ratioed tier list video that people keep seeing and don't stay until the end to realize is a joke. Hot takes aplenty here at Bulk Noise. Please don't call me Bulk Noise, god damn it. May as well refer to Fergie as Black Eyed Peas while you're at it. Now that you're ready to hear an opinion that will go in the bucket with the other opinions that, nobody agrees with. Rock That Body is will.i.am's best produced song. It is the best produced song of the decade. It's the third best song. You gotta assume that it's gonna leave with some accolades. This beat, production, foundation for Rock That Body is everything to this story of a song that fell between the cracks. Hell, I wouldn't have paid it any mind if it wasn't for the embarrassing I'm a Bee video that puts it in there only for a little pride. I see you, Will. I appreciate your little party anthem. I've actually been very excited to agonize on the details of this underrated masterpiece for a long while now. So let's indulge in detail. RTB lives and dies on the drum work. Take it out, de-emphasize it, mess with it in any way, and this song is nothing. Fergie's monked vocals come off as gimmicky, empty lyrical attempts to sound like fun is being had. Kinda messy, but every clap at the end of a phrase.
I wanna dance in the lights.
The chugging 16th note riff that's the antithesis of a good time at its apex. And one of my favorite percussion elements in music, the concert-based drumification of the beat. Of course, a will.i.am song isn't going to have a drum outside of a synthesizer or a computer. Not every artist is Brendan Urie. But what he could do is make that synthesized bass the crux of the beat. It's mixed almost to come through anything. And I love how it's utilized within the fills. Then there's just something to those keys. Like, I don't even have a way to describe them or a comparison point of other songs. Rock That Body meets its goals of rocking that body. I'm not even embarrassed to like this song. This song!
Running around the clock, hit the lights and then turn them off.
Lyrically, it does exactly what it needed to. It doesn't derail itself by being a dated cash grab. Bep were pros. Big emphasis on were. This is most apparent with the two background guys' ridiculously simple verses.
Yeah, you could be big bone, you could be the model type.
You could be anyone. You could dance/listen to anything. Who even cares? It's the most fun you could be having. 10 years out, this still stands as the best party song of its generation. The beat alone makes it a stronger example than even the other Peas songs. Yes, I will go that far. Rock That Body is a mythical wonder we will never see again. Bep or anyone. And it deserves your time. Poor Bep. It's a shame they weren't able to release anything after the end. Nothing. Nothing at all. Number 2. What? Do you think this needs some stage setting? It's fucking Praying by Kesha. There's no better Phoenix from the Ashes story than this destroyer of worlds, or more specifically, piece of trash. It had the absolute best music moment of the decade. Ryan Lewis's second fiddle production efforts fit perfectly. He knew where to hold back and where to load on the triumphant destruction of the past shit. It builds perfectly. It's one of the best songs of all time, and you better fucking respect it. We are not worthy. And before the most obvious best of the decade, let's go over our last honorable mentions. You better know what it is. I've telegraphed it for 5 years, dude.
All time.
Shockingly poignant. Also... whoops. Still just 5 years away from beating me down enough to make this list. I remember when I didn't think Duo would ever top this. It's now, what, her 6th best song?
I like it like, say I like it like that.
I knew I liked it when I set the list for this video, and yet it didn't make it. Sit it between Kanye and Usher, and I'll tell you which song is out of the list at Redactions 2. I said the substantial things about it in 2019. Real fun stuff. Yes, I'm garbage. I like authentically fun music, and Tutum is that, despite that fucker. It's not like he has another good song out right now. Let's take this moment to reflect on how Demi accidentally made an incredible song once and got nowhere close to it again. And people hate this one too. Alright, that's those. Oh, crap. What am I supposed to use to introduce it? I can't use it. Number 1. These lists always have a certain framework. Something made a song top every list. Maybe that song was incredibly addictive. I listened to it for weeks, months. Maybe it took me farther away from the standard landscape pop had set up. Its differences necessitated a higher spot than anything else in that year. Maybe it had an unforeseen longevity that Overplay couldn't break. Even after listening to just it for weeks, hearing it again years later is still just as fresh as the first time. Maybe a dazzling production, no matter its complexity, made the thing more enjoyable than anything else. Maybe it invoked a feeling that I couldn't get out of another piece of music. Hell, maybe even a piece of entertainment. Maybe it just has to be one of the best songs ever made. Maybe, just maybe, it has to be Downtown. 2015. Best year I've covered? Not anymore. Downtown. Best song I've ever talked about? Yes. This is my opportunity to do better. Not ramble out 4 words about how it's indescribably great. Which it is. How Grandmaster Kaz, Mel, and Ryan Lewis put together a fucking masterpiece. Which they did. This is a convergence of a man from a random Cincinnati band who led the perfect song at the perfect time. And the only way we're doing this is from start to finish. So naturally, like a grandiose concerto, Ryan drowns us in the piano he made a career of. He's not some stuffy industry producer. He's a savant, striding out with the most authoritative eighth notes to prime you for an unforgettable dreamscape. His sharp keys were always his staple, and it holds the magic together, which we will get into later. But I am still talking about the first 10 seconds. Horns galore. Every time this song isn't carried by its vocal performers, the horns pick it up. Pick it up! The horns, from start to finish, they put together this crescendo that brings this masterpiece together. But again, I'm still talking about the beginning. Even the drums here, there's something about the pacing, the syncopation, the kicking of that bass drum. It's so full and complex. I know having to play it on Rock Band would annoy me, and that's the truest sign of a good drum part. But really, it completes this lush tapestry of a production, which evolves as we go, which eventually brings us to the Mac.
I went to the moped store, said fuck it.
When Ryan started working on the single for their next album, he referred to making it as Moping Around. Macklemore took it and literally made a longer than usual pop song about mopeds. Best song of all time about mopeds? Confirmed. I certainly can't name the last time a business transaction captivated me so. Fuck it, I got the one for you. First guest break.
Downtown, cruising through the alley.
Our guests are adding an individual voice to contrast Mac's goofy lines. Well, a dual voice, but an unspoken credibility from the simple force these two guys have. Does it matter what they're saying? Not even a little.
White walls on the wheels like mayonnaise.
Only memorable as a callback to Mac's worst single, and still wonderful enough to hold Rye's piano touches.
Ooh, it's too real.
Rocket 2.0 is a great song, and something that can also be done by cowbell.
Dope, my crew is ill.
One of the unequivocal differences of Downtown to the common pop song is its refusal to stop moving. Fuck, I can illustrate this with my number 1 of last year. I love Rockstar, and I probably always will, but other than one of the best musical choices in a song, it's very static. One never-ending guitar loop, one repeating bass line, and there's nothing wrong with that. I understand it was there to feature the people behind the mics. Seth in the Kitchen stole that song for me. Ryan moped an endlessly memorable, ever-changing god among production jobs. And while we're at it, let's draft a perfect hook performer. I mean, I'm soaring. This is what music has led to. Eric Nally is the lead singer of Cincy hard rock band Foxy Shazam. Unrelated to my current points, The Church of Rock and Roll is a good album. I actually discovered... Hey, you stuck around for one of my favorite songs of all time. You should have expected me to go into 14 tangents. There is no other singer who captivates every second like Eric does. Every shout of that word, every note of that flawless chorus is savored and built up so well. Arms around your waist. Magnificent glittery keys that put you in that parade of celebrations welcome to all. It's the majesty of driving through your home city and feeling the warmth of that place you call home. It's universal, awe-inspiring imagery that nothing else can touch. You're home, and Ryan has me hook, line, and sinker. Have you ever felt the warm embrace? Oh, and Tom Heavy Domes. And Fifth Horns. Oh, and generally, it's a top 5 of all time chorus. Probably number 1. It doesn't need a mood. It's not for a certain time. This chorus takes over and puts me into a nostalgic trance of happiness. Back to when I was on my only college bowling roster. Playing Pokemon Go on my iPhone 4 between walking to classes. Acing tests and having the best GPA I'd ever have. One song would play everywhere I went, and it made a great time better. And it's all thanks to Eric and Ryan creating better memories for months.
Cut the bullshit. Get off my mother.
It is a little long, isn't it? We can't forget about Mac and the complimentary legends I'm too white to know previously. I can't understate how Ben gave everything to this one lead-off single to the sophomore popular album.
But I'ma keep a hell in 1987, head into the dealership and drop a stack in Kappa Kawasaki.
He didn't hold back skill. Every swing was like Pete Ken Griffey Jr.'s towering drives in the Old Kingdom. Which, there he is in the video. Are you fucking kidding me? I love this song.
It's me, the M, the A, C, the K.
There's an entire think piece I can spark up about Mac's Apex being in this moment, and how years of honing and build-up got him here. All Mac has is 2 extremes. Hyper serious and hyper silly. One of those he does better than anybody. Every line chains into that sick burn attitude, but actually, Eric Nally is half O's. Just reactions to earned moments from...
I'm going 38, Dan, chill the fuck out, mow your damn lawn and sit the hell down.
To... anything. It's perfect. Worth reciting every word every time, which is easy to remember when you listen to it nonstop for months on end. And then there's the end! Downtown. Well, nothing out of the ordinary here. Just as ungodly good as the first time, until the heavens open up and fucking angels sing. That choir of men takes a top 10 chorus and drives it to top fucking 1. It's all a perfect build of a community coming together and taking over the streets, but just to celebrate taking on another day alive. Being is the victory. No matter the creed, background, location. It's a victory. Every triumphant horn. Every vocal delivery, and all 4 minutes and 52 seconds are a part of my soul. Downtown is the best song of the decade. It is also the best song of the 2000s, and it might be the best song of all time. Thank you for watching my video. Stretch goal! Over at patreon.com/bulknoise. If I get to 200 a month, I'll do this very video concept for the aughts. Hope to see y'all there. For now, subscribe, since I'm close to being able to finish my top 100 songs of all time, or at least unlock it, and you'll see that in 5 years. Already had a good start on redactions too. This will catch you up on my previous mistakes. Subscribe again? Ah, shit. Broke a fucking stick.